Nice and quiet. Last time I was in this world, I was taking the screenshot with the last episode's thumbnail. But, hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm trying out another solo episode. First time in a little bit. I don't know, just thought it'd be nice. I had a topic that I wanted to talk about. And, you know, if I have a guest on, of course, I just want to ask them questions about themselves. And I didn't expect Pie Man's episode to end with asking me some questions, but I don't know. It's weird. First of all, just before I get into what I want to talk about today, which you probably already know from the title of the video, but thank you guys so much for the really positive response on this. I know the views haven't really been like crazy or anything to really write home about. Though then again, maybe I shouldn't say that because I'm sure there's some people who would kill to have the kind of views that these are getting. But like as compared to my main channel, like the views on this are low, but the response has been so much more overwhelmingly and straight up positive than most stuff that I make, I feel. I mean, I've said it before, but like I keep getting people telling me very directly in the comments and in DMs as well. I think the DMs are what really get me, but people keep telling me that like this is a fantastic series. They really love it. Try not to let it get to my head, but it is really nice knowing that people are really appreciating this series. They're seeing it as more than just a Minecraft Let's Play, which I know is not the most original thing, but hey, I enjoy the game, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. But yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about the success of stick figures and how niche they are and how people perceive them. I think it's an interesting thing to talk about, so I want to talk about it. Where this comes from is, I'd say like maybe a month ago now, there's this Twitter account called Cartoon Base, I think is what it's called. And they just make announcements about cartoons. And they did this series of posts about indie animations in September, or yeah, I think it was in September. So this is actually a couple months ago now. Damn, time flies. And it included stuff like the what was it? The Homestuck pilot that had released. Another one that I hadn't heard much about. I think Monkey Wrench had an episode, and then someone in Alan's fan base made a quote retweet to it saying, why is there no mention of Alan's episode? It has like this many views. Like, we're give my man some respect. And then DJ Welsh, the co-creator and co-host of Animators vs. Games, as I'm sure most of you know. Pardon me. He also made a response to that tweet, just kind of agreeing with them and just kind of stating how it was kind of a shame that stick figure animation isn't taken seriously. And then I made a response to that on top of it, kind of giving my thoughts. But I still think about it every now and then. And, you know, since then, the cartoon-based account has, they followed a bunch of people from Alan's community. Like, they took the feedback really well and really professionally. They didn't make any big post about it. They just heard the discussion going around about it, followed some of the people who talk a lot about Alan's content, and now they're, you know, posting about this stuff that Alan does. So, you know, huge respect and thanks to the people behind that account. I think that was really cool of them. But that does still kind of bring up the idea of how Alan's content, while yeah, it does get a lot of views, it definitely isn't seen the same way as like Vivzy Pop's creations or Glitch Productions or content along those lines. Oh, and now it's sad. The sky is crying. Sorry. But I like, yes, Alan's channel has 32 million subscribers, and he consistently gets really high views. Is he underrated? No, absolutely not. You know, his videos do very well. People still respect him a lot. But it comes into question when we're talking about, pardon me. It comes into question once we start talking about in relation to the public reception that other series get, whether funded by the industry or independently. And I think that's when it becomes an interesting conversation. Sorry, I need to focus on what I actually want to do in this episode. I think I'm going to turn this into an actual lighthouse this episode. And by turn it into a lighthouse, I mean completely tear this down and then start from scratch. Which means I might be material farming for a bit. But that's kind of what I want to do. I want to build a lighthouse. I think it would be cool. Yeah. Gosh. Let's see. I suppose I should just equip all of my normal tools. But yeah, I still kind of agree that Alan's content is looked over, and people don't really pay much attention to it, because it is made with stick figures. I think anyone can kind of figure that out. I think it's kind of an obvious answer. It's not a problem that no one's figured out. It's because of the medium that Alan has chosen. I don't know why I started talking like that. But it's because of the medium that Alan has chosen, of why, you know, that is why people don't take his content very seriously at all. And I don't blame people for it. I really honestly don't. It is unfortunately a common conception and consensus that stick figure animation is not that hard. And it's very similar to the consensus that I had before I started doing stick figure animation myself. I actually started making kind of full... They were bad, but they were full-body animations. Pardon me. Back when I was on Full Note Hatena, I made animations with Sonic OCs. I know, it's pretty cringy, but, you know, I was having fun with it at the time, so sue me. But I was under kind of the same idea whenever I saw stick fight animations on Full Note Hatena when they were uploaded. I thought negatively of them as well. I kind of thought like, oh, this is stick figures. They're easy to draw. This isn't actually that impressive. They were still fun to look at. You know, there's obviously an appeal to that. You know, I mean, the whole reason that I even came to the stick figure community in the first place is because of that level of nostalgia where I wanted to watch specifically stick fights, because there is something special to them that I think most people realize. Pardon me. But, I mean, even myself, as, I mean, a bad animator at the time, but an animator nonetheless, I negatively thought of stick figures because of how simple and basic they were. I thought they were more of an insult to the art and the craft. When obviously, you know, now having been in the community for nearly 10 years now, which is still crazy, I can't disagree with that more. But that's not the point. The point is that's just kind of the consensus for, I mean, everyone, for the average consumer. They'll look at a stick figure, think, oh, I can draw a stick figure. What's so special about this? You know, Has-Been Hotel has, like, complex designs and fluid animation. But, you know, stick figure just has fluid animation. But, like, you know, it can't be that hard. Newsflash, for those people, it is very hard. Stick figure animation, especially in order to do it very, very well, like professionally, is still incredibly difficult. You still need to know pretty much every single principle and fundamental of animation and art, because it all still applies. It all adds up. The only difference is that we're not having to animate these complex character designs, but we still have to understand the complex motions given between movements. And in my opinion, I think stick figure animators oftentimes turn out as way better animators than most of the industry. Obviously, that is not speaking for everybody, but I think that speaks for most of them. I have been working technically in the industry, thanks to Alan, and we have hired some people from the industry. And those are the people who struggle the most when transitioning into the rest of our work, when trying to adapt our style. They struggle so much because we essentially, I say we, but I rarely ever animate for Alan. Again, I'm his manager, for those who don't know. His production manager, just to be clear. Pardon me. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. I need to get, like, actual food. I need to start, like, a cow farm or something, maybe a potato farm. So I might actually try that real quick, because this wheat farm is going to grow fast enough. Pardon me. But the point that I was getting to was, a lot of the times that we hire industry animators, they don't perform as well because we focus very heavily and we rely on silhouette-based animation. There is some depth more so in the AVA series where we see the world that more so mimics our own, and you see special characters that have more detail than our average stick figure, of course. Like Mitzi or any of the extras, the background characters. But they still do rely heavily on silhouette animation. But as for our main core of stick figures, they are 100% silhouette animation because that's all they are. They're just painted a different color. They're just not black. And you have to mime out all of your movements to try and convey emotion. Now, of course, there are stick figure animators who implement faces and line work and color depth into their limbs and movement, but that is not all of them. Definitely not all of them. Most animators in the stick figure community just rely on silhouette animation, so that kind of forces them to have a much better understanding of character movement. And in some ways, that can be a weakness, but in a lot of ways, I see it more of a strength. I find it as a shame that those animators have a much harder time finding a good way into the industry. I don't think it's very fair to them. Trying to figure out where I want this lighthouse, actually. I think I'll probably have it kind of seeping out into the ocean over here. Yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to need some cobblestone. So I might have to start mining a bit more, but let me see how much cobblestone I already have. I think I've already wasted a lot, if not most of it. Okay, I have a stack and then some, but yeah, I need more. Pardon me. Again, my bad, my allergies, my throat, woe is me, yada yada. God, what was I saying? My apologies. I don't know. It's ultimately a shame that stick figures are seen as not that impressive. I understand why that is. I just, I can only hope that the stigma one day is changed or adjusted sometime in the future. But I understand why people don't think so positively of stick figure animation, because stick figures are, yes, they're easy to draw, but their simplicity is also what allows you to execute very complex ideas much faster. And oftentimes you'll see people in the stick figure community leave and go into more anime. I actually would like to have leather, so I'm gonna kill horses. Didn't even drop into leather. Good, I'm a monster. But you'll see people leave the stick figure community to go into the industry, and some of them have been able to find really respectable and a high position. I'm sure high paying as well, though I can't confirm that because I'm not them. But like Guzu, for example, he has found his way deep in the industry. Doesn't really interact with the stick figure community anymore, which I find disappointing. But I don't blame him. I understand why. The industry is much more of his focus, and that's fine. But he's done so much in the industry at this point. I mean, take a look at any of his demo reels, and you'll see just the amount of work that he does with these large companies and studios. It is impressive, and I'm nothing but happy for the guy. Hope he's doing fine for himself. I hope he's being treated well in the mess that is the main animation industry. Where are the animals? I need food. Leather is nice, but I can't eat leather. I'm gonna go up into the forest, see if anything spawns. But yeah, I think it's just a general consensus that stick figures are easy to draw, and people just kind of stop thinking about it there. Ironically, I think that's going to be one of the reasons that AI doesn't touch our community for a long time, because who's trying to mimic stick figure animation with AI when you can try to imitate Studio Ghibli very poorly. And again, if you want to hear more discussion about AI in the art and animation space, you can watch our Dojo Cast episode we did just about a week ago now. Pardon me. But I don't know. I don't know what much there is that we can do to improve the public's perception on stick figure animation. I think really all that we can do is wait and give it time. Fortunately, Alan's content is being looked at and talked about more and more. If you even just search up his name, you'll see a lot of reaction videos on YouTube, talking entirely just being like, the title will often consist of something along the lines of what is it, like, I finally watched Alan Becker's videos. Their face will be all shocked, like, whoa. And I think that has become much more common in the last few years. Okay. Thanks, I just want to get food, man. You can leave me alone. Guess I'll get my shield out. I'm going to experience that a bit more. But I think slowly over time we will be getting there, to a point where Alan's content is sought after and well respected and discussed. But I think, a lot of people just kind of write his videos off as sure, the story might be fine, but the animation is less impressive, so people don't really talk about it as much. When, I'd say quite the opposite. I think the animation in Alan's content is some of the best on the entire platform. Especially speaking it from a technical aspect. It is incredibly impressive what our team is capable of doing. And I've seen, even what they can do in their own independent work, not just working for Alan. It is nothing short of impressive. And I'm super proud to be working with Alan and the rest of the team. I love every single one of them. They're all so incredibly talented, and I guarantee you that no one else would be able to do the same. Like if we obviously, I've already said, if we picked animators from the industry, they're not going to be able to do the same things. And that's not to say that they're bad animators. That's not what I'm trying to imply when I say that at all. I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to disrespect those animators at all. Really? All right. Fine. Guess I'll go back and find where I died. How did I die from that? I had full iron, just because I jumped over it. Whatever. I'm gonna stop complaining and just fix it. So I think it was over in this mountainous area. Oh boy. Yeah, I know. Whatever. But no, there's obviously the industry has a lot of talent, a lot of really high skill, high level talent. I'm not trying to say at all that the industry is not as good as stick figure animation. That would be silly. But I just think a lot of people underestimate what the stick figure community can do. And I just think it's a shame. And if you are someone who is still under the same ideology and impression that stick figure animation is not that impressive because it's stick figures, then I implore you to look at, really pay attention to the animation, the frame data, and the movement of Alan Becker's content. If you want something more technically impressive by the industry standards, then maybe check out videos by Gilded Guy. His stuff is incredible. Him and his team, they kind of bridge the gap between. Sorry, I'm focusing. I want to make sure that I actually have everything. But his is like a perfect bridge in between stick figure animation and traditional industry animation. Not traditional. Traditional is like pen and paper, which obviously not that. Pardon me. And then you have the classic collaborations like Dominate. I think the Hyun's Dojo community in their collaborations actually are an excellent source of really skilled and varied animators. Yes. Sorry, let me organize my inventory a bit here. Make sure I haven't lost too much. Got my axe, my shield. Other miscellaneous food. I'm probably going to start heading back immediately to organize this. I think I have a little bit of food, but I think the first thing I'm actually going to do here in a minute is start up a potato farm, because that food source is going to be much more plentiful and faster in general. I think I have everything. Yeah. Cool. Well, that was fun. Thank you, Creeper, for that detour. Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't think Alan's content is niche. I think people are starting to realize it's, you know, the content that comes out of his channel is more than just stick figure animation and, the style itself. It's more than just stick figures, which, of course I'm happy with. I'm happy that more people are learning to respect it. Film Theory did their whole, I think they did a 2-parter. Was that their 1 part? No, I think it was just a one video, but they also did some GT Live reactions of the influencer arc that Alan wrote and I helped produce. And, I really appreciated that. It was really just a retelling of the whole thing, which I wish they would have been a little more creative with that and, offered maybe a bit more substance than just explaining the message that I feel was obviously clearly told in the series itself. But I digress. It is positive reception nonetheless. And, I really appreciate and respect them for covering it. I know it's those channels aren't nearly as big as now as compared to when MatPat was still a big part of the channels. I think he does still play a behind-the-scenes role, but obviously, since he's stepped down as host of the channels, his role has not been very large. But still, of course, it's any reception and any reaction is better than no reaction. So, still much appreciated. And as to all the reaction channels, I know Alan does not like reaction videos. And he sees those as competition for his actual videos, which I guess I kind of understand, but that feels a little mean in my opinion. But that's I don't want to. If I ever get him on here, I'll probably talk to him about it. But I don't want to just make it seem like he's the bad guy. I know he has his reasons, and they're probably good reasons. But I disagree with those reasons, and that's okay. Yeah. Anyway, the point is I think people are slowly starting to grow more appeal to the idea of stick figure animation and realize that it's more than just stick figures, and that you can do a whole lot more because it's stick figures. So, yeah, and I think the consensus that I often tend to hear in video analysis on some of Alan's content is how impressive it is that Alan's able to create such story and carry such emotion through simple stick figures, which, again, that's the whole point. So kind of the whole point of stick figure animation is you're not relying on faces or anything else to help convey emotion. It's entirely based on body language and timing. It is a very tricky problem to solve. It is also a very niche profession to get into, stick figure animation. I wouldn't recommend going professional in stick figure animation, because really the only job that you can get through stick figure animation is to work for Alan at the moment. I'm sure that will change as time goes on and stick figures become a more sought after art style. And who knows, maybe AI will even cause more people to go into stick figure animation because AI is going to be able to so easily replicate everything else. And I think it's going to take a long time for AI to start trying to mimic and copy stick figure animation. So, man. Oh, man, what a discussion. I don't know. I find it fascinating to talk about and think about. I'm not all like, woe is me. I wish stick figures had more attention. I think I enjoy the nicheness of the community at the moment. I do hope that it gets less niche, but I've never seen so many vines in a cave before. It was weird. I know it will change eventually. I welcome it. I want it to become closer to mainstream. As for what that brings with it, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, I want more people to enjoy the content that this community creates. So, of course, I want more people to be able to see it. But I understand the appeal of how niche it is, and if it ever does become mainstream, that's probably going to deter a lot of current members of the community away from it. And while that is sad, you know, I get it. You know, that is the general appeal for most people in this community. I think is just how close knit it all feels, almost like we're all been one big happy family. And there was a comment that someone left on the Hyun episode, and I have it here off my screen. I'm gonna do that so you're gonna see the taskbar for a bit, just so I can read it. But it's this guy called Octaman responded to the episode 2 with Hyun. He said, it needs to be said a huge portion of the Dojo's audience in its prime was children and teens. You could definitely see this in comments from back then. A ton of kids watched the Dojo dreaming to be animators in their own right. And the sad thing is, a lot of us that grew up aren't... oh, pardon me. Sorry, I need to focus on that. A ton of kids watched the Dojo dreaming to be animators in their own right. And the sad thing is, a lot of us that grew up aren't artistically talented enough, end up leaving that behind us. I, for one, largely stopped watching stick figure animations because it made me sad realizing I lacked the talent to contribute to such a community. I've participated in a Dojo collab, Hand of 13's Pass the Ball collab. And honestly, the biggest cause for decline for the Dojo was losing so many big names from back in the day. Jam, Endo, Shuriken, Nazul, L-Boy, Turquoise, Popej, never heard of that name, McCool, Resh, etc. There's also, we're not going to talk about those guys, but they mention X and Bartholomew. All these names had iconic characters, animations, and they were forefront members of the community that inspired the hearts and minds of the next generation. Really, I don't have a silver bullet answer. I don't think there's a magic work X amount more hours, make X new thumbnails, throw money at the solution. I think the future of the Dojo will be with its community, a return to the late 2000s, early 2010s stick figure community. Small but punches so far above its weight creatively. The success of the KJ series, Gilda Guy Stories, and the Bing Bong Ball collab show there's still an appetite for stick figure content. If the community is able to make new characters to like, stories to follow, and collabs to participate in, I'm sure the community will thrive for decades to come, even if things don't return to the pre-COVID 2017 to 2021 peaks. That is their whole comment. Paraphrased a little bit and changed a bit of the grammar, but that is pretty much their comment. And I just wanted to talk about it because I think they brought up a lot of really good points. Pardon me. I think they're kind of right with the older members of the community that we don't really see anymore. And you know that is a byproduct of people moving on in order to do more professional things in the industry. Most animators come into the community we talked about it in the episode with Hyun. A lot of people come into the community, start animating stick figures, get really good at it, but then they want more, and you can't really get too much more with stick figure animation. Unfortunately, I wish you could, but you can't really. I am curious if the answer to the success of the Dojo channel in specific is to restrict the number of people that get featured in videos. I could see that being a valid argument, how it's just every new upload is by a completely new person that you've never heard of before, and kind of, ruins that community feeling a little bit. I think I kind of understand that. So is the answer for the Dojo to just stop featuring a wide swath of creators? I don't know. I want to say no. That doesn't feel right. But then at that point, I don't know. Would that even result in many answers? I kind of want to say no. I don't think that's going to solve a lot of the issues. I think that would solve... It used to feel special. The Dojo channel definitely used to feel special. Like you had these major animators that you would look up to and would want to be and become and work with. And then once they're gone, they get replaced by a new generation, but the new generation is just so large that you can't keep track of all the names. But I don't know if that's going to be what really brings the feeling of the community back. I get might help, but it also feels wrong to limit how many people can be featured on the channel just because they're not a solidified name. I think that's not very fair. And I don't, maybe I just don't want to believe that that's what would, quote unquote, fix the channel. Who knows, really? Who knows? God, what else did they say? They said a lot. I think, yeah, I agree with them that there is absolutely an appetite for stick figure related content. I mean, Bing Bong Ball was really successful. Gilded Guy's content is, incredibly successful. God, who else? Yeah, the KJ series as well. There's obviously an appetite for it. And we were able to achieve all of that without building a consistency in names. Bing Bong Ball has maybe a handful of names that you might recognize, but I'd say it's mostly new people into the community, people that you wouldn't recognize off the bat. And I think that's a great thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. I love that, honestly. Oh, I have some golden iron in here. Interesting. I'm actually going to smelt these down, because I'm never going to use these. But yeah, I think there is absolutely an appetite for stick figure related content, and I am absolutely going to still be here, hopefully continuing to support that side of our community. I really enjoy bringing new people into the community to show everyone what they're made of and what they can do. I think it's just such a cool concept to me that I can host a collaboration and provide so many new animators and maybe old animators a place where they can get their name heard and have their stuff seen for maybe the first time. And to restrict the dojo to just a few people just so that, you see more frequent names and it causes maybe more recognizability. Doesn't feel very fair to everyone else. Though I understand that might make an impact on the perception of the community. It might make it feel like it used to. Kind of like Hyun said, I don't think there is any going back. I think we have to kind of figure out something new for the community. I'm gonna start building a farm for potatoes. Where this will be. I might just expand this out this way, so I need to get rid of these trees. Yeah. But no, it was a great comment. You left some really, really thoughtful insights, and I appreciate it. And I'd love to see more comments like that. I'd also like to encourage all of you watching. Please feel free to leave some of your own thoughts on the community, or even just general questions, and I might bring them up in future solo episodes. I love interacting with you guys like this. Has been really special for me. I can't speak for anyone else, obviously, but I have really enjoyed this series so far. Pardon me. I need dirt blocks. And I need a lot more fences. I'm gonna need more sticks too. Booyah. So many more sticks now. Look at that. Or fences, I mean. Oh. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, so this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's 10 long. That includes this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Then we gotta do one more for the fence. Okay. Then we'll just put this back out to land. Cool. No, but I really enjoy those kinds of comments. They're very insightful. They give their own opinions and allow me an opportunity to acknowledge your comments and ideas. And I think that's really cool. I think it's going to be something that I end up really thoroughly enjoying throughout this. So please do let me know your thoughts on, well, anything that we talk about. Man, I didn't think I would go through all the topics that quickly. I had all of those written down, thinking it would take me like at least an hour to talk about all that. And here I am. There is another thing that I wanted to talk about. This is entering discussion of collabs. Shabani had made a post on Twitter recently, talking about his thoughts on... Okay, well, actually, let me pull it up so I don't paraphrase him. But he was giving his thoughts on tribute collabs, and he feels very strongly about him. And I'm not at all trying to, disrespect him or anything like that. And I don't want anyone to go send him hate or anything. But I do disagree with him in a specific way. Let's see what he said. He said, really grown to dislike tributes. When you pay tribute to something, you're showing appreciation for something that's no longer around, which is not what modern quote-unquote tributes are doing, now seemingly releasing anywhere from a year to even a month after the original collab drops. If I made a collab called Dojo Whole Fights, following the exact same format of pit fights, people would rightly call me a ripoff. But if I make Dojo Pit Fight Tribute, then suddenly I'm okay. Even though I'm not paying tribute, the collab came out this year. I'm just taking the idea. I'm not opposed to tributes, like actual tributes, like Run Collab Tribute, which was actually paying tribute to a super old beloved collab. Even I would love to host a tribute to the Avalanche collab. I just think tributes are a way we've become comfortable with unoriginality. Now, I understand what he's saying. He's really trying to talk about the mindset of pretty much just taking someone else's idea for a collab, making it yourself, just so that you can ride off of its modern popularity, its current popularity, and people are they're still talking about it, and maybe there's people who wanted to participate in the original, so hey, they're just going to participate in this ripoff. But I think that's just a very cynical perspective of it. I think most people who want to make a tribute collab only make one. And people who do more than that, sure, you can start to criticize them for quote-unquote unoriginality. I think that might be a fair observation, personally. But in my experience, most people only do one tribute collab because they want to try and host a collab, and they don't want to have to waste their time on their own original idea if it's not going to work. I've been there when you set up this entire collaboration, rules and everything, and a template, and it just kind of flops. And no one cares about it. But if you were to do a tribute based on something that's already been done, you already have direct reference and expectation for what it's supposed to look like. So it's a lot easier for them to get into it. I think most people's first tribute collabs are meant to just show appreciation for the original collaboration or project. If it's not even a tribute based on a collab, it's like maybe a Gilded Guy tribute, for example, something like that. Pardon me. I think we can offer them some leeway. I think if they're obviously just trying to game the tributes to ride off of their fame consistently, then yeah, you can call them out for that. But I think preemptively insulting people who just want to try something and use someone else's concept as a way to pay tribute to it, I think that's fine. In fact, I welcome it. There was actually a whole controversy about tribute collabs quite a few years ago. Back when the original Dojo website was still up, the collabs thread was being just filled with tribute collabs. And that was partially due to the large success that the Dojo YouTube channel was having. And it was introducing a lot of kids to the platform, and those kids would want to try and make their own version of that collab because they wished they had been a part of it. And, other people would see that they're hosting it, and they're like, oh, I wanted to participate in that thing as well. Let me try it out. And ultimately, what you're getting there is just a bunch of people having fun. And it's honestly not much more than that. I would stress that it's just exactly that. I don't think these kids are going out of their way thinking I'm going to leech off of this collab success because it's relevant and it's recent. I think they just want to make something cool. They want to try it out, and if they really enjoy it, then they're going to be more tempted to make something more original. Like I just released, or like let's say I release rock paper scissors, right? Hopefully around February it will release, and when it releases, there might be someone who's like, I'm gonna host my own smaller version of this. I'm not gonna be pissed off at them and tell them to stop. Who am I to tell them what to do creatively? That to me is just so obtrusive creatively and damaging to someone who is just inspired off of your content. I personally think it is disrespectful. I don't know. It feels icky when someone just wants to make something because you made something cool, but you're just sour about it because they're just stealing your, quote unquote, stealing your idea. First of all, it's stick figures. It's not that serious, really. A lot of these people hosting tribute collabs are on the younger side, and even if they are in their younger adult years, they're still inspired. And you can obviously tell when they just want to leech off of something relevant and popular and that people are still talking about. But I think that's rarely ever the case. I don't think you should try to discourage a bunch of people from creating something just because hang on, this is kind of confusing me. Why is this not even? Oh, I'm just overthinking it. I'm just going to close it off like that a bit more. It's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I don't know. I just think that whole opinion is very cynical and not worth thinking that hard about, personally. You're, of course, allowed to disagree with me, and, please, by all means, let me know your thoughts. And, Shabani, if you'd love to come on here and talk about it as well, please let me know. I'd love to have you on here, but I also understand if you are not comfortable with sharing your voice, so, it's totally understandable. But I would like to offer you a place where you can have that discussion, because I do find it interesting. Of course, I think you are right to some extent, but for in the mass majority of cases, I disagree. I don't think it's that serious. I don't think people are just leeching off of something that doesn't, quote unquote, deserve a tribute. There's also the part of that opinion that's just, it says it implies that the only situation where a tribute would be okay is if years have passed. I think that's a little silly. I think you can make a tribute on something that you just appreciate, and it doesn't have to be much more complicated than that. I could make tribute to something that came out like 2 days ago because I just really enjoyed it. I think you could relate it very easily to more just fan creations. I should get water in here first so that this doesn't undo itself. Yeah, I heavily encourage people to continue creating tributes. I think it is doing nothing but good things for not just the community, but for themselves. It's offering them an experience into an art medium that they haven't tried before. And if they enjoy it, hopefully they'll start hosting more original things. But if they still host a tribute every now and then, so long as it is in good spirits to actually pay tribute to it, then I think it's fine. There was a period where, I suppose I could say in your defense, like the Doors collab tributes, there was a period where those were so fucking common. And there were a lot of collabs that, they would just pretty much steal the idea of the Doors collab, but call it something different. And I still think those are largely innocent because they're made by kids who just want to make something. There's always going to be a level of innocence to those tribute collabs, in my opinion. Even the Doors ones. Well, yeah, they got old and kind of wished they had not gone as far as they did. What it does tell you is that people were inspired by what Pluto created. And honestly, if people did the same thing for any of my collabs, I would just feel honored. I don't even care if they were just quote unquote ripping off my idea and weren't actually doing a tribute. Because here's the thing: no one can host my collabs the same way that I can, and I'm so confident in that. And I think that if you're scared or offended by the creation of someone using your same idea, then that kind of tells me, this might be cynical on my end, I admit it, but that kind of tells me that maybe you didn't put all of your energy and effort into it. Personally, so let's say that someone wanted to make their own version of To Catch a Butterfly. I don't think they could have done it as well as Shab. I think Shab was the person to host that collaboration. And, you know, if there already was a tribute collab to it, and I think it was fine, but it wasn't Shab's, so it wasn't that high quality. And if someone does have the ability to make something that high quality, they're not going to waste their efforts on another fucking tribute collab. People use tribute collabs as a means of practice, and that's it. It does not go much farther than that, in my opinion. I don't know. I just don't like the whole cynical mindset. I think it's just a waste of breath and getting angry at air. Honestly, if it sounds a little mean, then I apologize. But those are my thoughts on the situation. Please do let me know, everyone. Let me know in the comments if you have an opinion on it. I'd love to hear it. I don't want to, you know, dispose my my opinion out there on the internet and speak of it as if it is pure fact, and that if anyone goes against it, then they are wrong. No, I would love to have a dialogue with everyone here and have a conversation. So, but those are my thoughts on the tribute collab argument. I think there is a time and place to call tribute collabs unoriginal, but I think that rarely happens. And when it does happen, I think it's very obvious when it happens, to the point that you really don't even need to talk about it. Yeah. I think I will stop talking about that. Yeah. I'm just going to try and build out this this farm as much as I can for now. Oh yeah, I need to turn in a bone meal first. Awesome. I just want to start building a lot. Yeah, that, oh my god, that's so much more plentiful. Holy shit. Already. Look at that. Yes, I'm not going to get to making the light tower, the watch tower. Fuck, what's it called? God, am I an idiot? I'm not going to be able to make the thing that I wanted to make in the beginning of the episode. But you know, this is good because it's this is gonna stop me from just spending so much time farming for food. Oh man, hell yeah! Cool. Very cool. Oh man, I mean, I did leave a response on the tweet that Shab made, but like Twitter only allows you to say so much. I didn't want to fill his replies with a bunch of responses. I would have felt a little inappropriate in my opinion. So I left like one tweet in response, pretty much saying what I said here. But I think what I said here was valuable, and I hope it results in a longer, more productive conversation. I just think that putting a blanket statement over a lot of tribute collabs, not even all of them, he wasn't saying all of them, but he was trying to imply that it's an issue with almost every single tribute collab, and I just disagree with that. So, get some more bread, and then I'm just gonna go and start farming cobblestone in the mine. Yeah. Ooh, also, real quick, I might as well. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Okay, now let's go down. Start doing this. I don't think I'd ever host another tribute collab. Again, I think once you grow the skills to host your own collaboration, you don't really need to do a tribute collab. It's kind of pointless. I mean, I know I hosted the Imitator tribute, and that was all in good faith. That was because I wanted to pay tribute to the one collab that actually brought me into the community. Again, if it wasn't for the Imitator collab, then I wouldn't be here. I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' opinions on the Imitator tribute? I know a lot of people like it, and I'm sure there's some people who really don't like it. But, you know, it was made in good faith, and I will defend that. You know, and that begs into question, what are the good and bad tributes? You know, what examples would you give? Could you give examples? I think it's hard because you can't tell somebody else what their intentions were. They're the only person who can tell you what their intentions were. So, I don't know. La 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 la. La dee dee da. God, I like ran out of shit to talk about, but I don't want to stop because I just want to farm materials for a bit. I don't want to start the next episode with just farming shit. Yeah, I think I might just stop the episode here. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. I guess I'll just start the next episode farming cobblestone. But I don't want to have to, you know, extend this out longer just because I don't want to end it. But I hope you all enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support and the feedback. This, you know, hosting this series has been really fun, really fulfilling. I've been enjoying it so much lately, and you know, as I've said before, I'm going to keep doing it for as long as it's fun. That is my philosophy on this series. So, God, I'm so glad Pie Man made this thing. This is where I'm going to go whenever I'm ending an episode. I swear, it's just such a natural thing to do when you're done. It's like a Minecraft lobby when you're about to start a mini game. They just have a little parkour thing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.